Hi, everybody. It's Monday evening. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. Obviously, we have some storms off towards our north and the west. We've been keeping our eye on those as we've gone throughout the evening. No threat to the region, at least so far, but they're starting to get close enough that they are going to be a threat to the region, especially Lake County here. Coming up in probably the next half hour or so, conditions going to go downhill as this powerful storm that is producing a tornado warning right now in the Chicago area. We've been watching this very closely over the last hour as that storm continues to track towards the region. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to continue to track this storm. We're not going to go long range on this. This is going to be special storm coverage here this evening. And we'll talk about what the potential is for the storm getting into northwest Indiana. And we'll keep you ahead of this thing as it continues to roll south and east, all in the special edition of Region Weather Live. All right, guys, good Monday evening to you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. This is the first time we've met. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz here with your update. What we're going to talk about here is this storm coming out of the Chicago area. Let's get right to it. Here's what the radar looks like. We've been waiting on these showers and thunderstorms to really get going. And the big question is, where did they get going, or where were they going to pop? We had that one storm that went through Madison, Wisconsin, went through Milwaukee with giant hail. Both those places went out over Lake Michigan with giant hail. That went into the Kalamazoo area. You see it there in the top corner of your screen right in here. That was the first storm that went going. But what happened is, remember, our atmosphere is just so unstable right now. It is incredibly unstable. I'll show you some of the numbers in a little bit. But that instability, remember, we talked about it last night in Region Weather Live. You just have to go in the atmosphere and you'll form a cloud, which forms a giant thunderstorm. That storm in Kalamazoo put out an outflow boundary, which triggered the storm up towards northern areas of Chicago and the suburbs. And that storm near Chicago, which is now rolling towards northwest Indiana, is packing a punch. It is a doozy, folks. This is exactly what the potential called for in terms of some of these storms here this evening. And we're certainly seeing that in Cook County right now. So in terms of the radar right now, here's your storm. It's just one storm. It's a massive storm. But this thing's doing all sorts of damage right now. O'Hare Airport clocked an 84 mile per hour wind gust with this, 84 miles per hour. Tornado or not, that is causing some damage. And they've had trees and power outages back from Schaumburg to Algonquin area up towards areas of northern Cook County. It also just caused a 69 mile per hour wind gust at Midway. So you get the idea. This is a very, very high wind producing thunderstorm. On top of that, we've got some big hail, likely hen size, maybe lime size hail falling within this. There's a big solid hail core that's not going away within this. And then on top of that, we've got the strong winds and some rotation within this as well. And that's the reason why there's a tornado warning for Cook County as it continues heading down to the south and the east. So I'm in tune with the Weather Service right now as well. So I want to just kind of catch you up on the latest. So the Weather Service just said the storm will remain in a very favorable environment for supercells and tornadoes into northwest Indiana. I totally agree with that. That's why we're on. In this environment, our plan is to continue the tornado warnings until we have abundance of evidence that the tornado threat has ended. Tornado or not, the supercells producing damaging winds strong enough to snap trees and damage buildings. And that's exactly what we just said, right, in terms of the coverage of this. So the tornado warning is likely going to be issued. It hasn't been yet, but it'll likely be issued. They'll probably continue it into Lake County. So for those of you in Lake County right now, you want to make sure you've got eyes on this storm. It's nothing you need to get in your safe place right now for, but if you're in Whiting or Hammond or anywhere up in the northwestern portion of Lake County, you might want to get ready for that. So a couple things we can do to prepare before this storm moves in. You want to get the stuff out of the lawn. If you've got, toys, kids' toys, whatever it happens to be, lawn chairs, might be a good idea to bring that in. If your car's outside with the hail with this storm, you want to park it in a garage if you can, all right? Because there's very large hail falling within this. Just get things kind of cleaned up. Your cell phone should be charging right now, just in case you lose power from this. This isn't one of those storms. And if you guys have been with me long enough, you know that I don't like to overhype things. This is one of those situations where this storm needs a little bit of height because it is a doozy. And again, it's tapping into an extremely unstable environment right now. I'm seeing some of your questions coming in, so you can keep those coming in. This isn't going to be like a traditional Region Weather Live where we answer questions at the end. The end is going to be when we're all out of this safely, okay? And we may take a break here and there. I've got another meteorologist might be joining us in a little bit. So we've got all sorts of, time to talk about this for sure. So Holly, I see your question on there. You say, is it a watch or a warning? This is right now we're under tornado watch, but this will likely be a tornado warning for Lake County probably shortly. The Weather Service hasn't pulled the trigger on that yet, but I would plan on oh, and it's pouring down rain right now, says Amy. I would plan on this being a tornado warning for Lake County here shortly. As we go through time, the storm is just getting closer. So what are we dealing with this storm? Let me kind of zoom in and show you. You can see how the storm is rotating. If you just notice how it moves on radar, it's kind of got the spin to it. That tornado threat is right here, right where you see that little hook. And that hook right now is heading right into... it's just west of Whiting, just north of the Burnham and the Dalton area. So that hook isn't too far off. It extends kind of back into the Evergreen Park in Oaklawn, just to the east of Oaklawn. But it's going to be a matter of probably 15 to 20 minutes or so before this gets into Lake County. So I would imagine that warning is going to get issued soon. Again, I'm tied in with the Weather Service right now, so I'll know about the warning before you get it on your phone. It'll probably be, maybe a couple seconds before, but we should have a good indication of that. So this storm is a big one. Where are we expecting it to go? Well, if we follow the trajectory of this, you notice kind of the track has been right along the lakeshore. These storms have had a mind of their own all afternoon and all evening. The models have not handled this, right? We talked about this last night as well, how the models don't handle this kind of severe weather setup very well. They don't handle the initiation of the storms. They don't handle where they go or what they look like. So I don't want to say we're kind of flying blind here, but what we're doing is nowcasting, and that is, here's what's happened regardless of what models have said, and here's what we're going to deal with as we go through time. So this storm continues to kind of hug the lakeshore. You see how it's got a pretty good path that's going to follow the tollway there, or the toll road, as you get onto 90 and the Skyway there. It'll likely go right over that area, and then it's going to head into northwestern areas of Lake County. So Whiting and East Chicago, despite the fact there's no warning right now for you, I would consider this a tornado warning if you're in the Whiting area, East Chicago. Hammond, we've got a little bit of time on this, so we don't have to do that yet. Gary, a little bit of time as well. But this storm is about to cross into the Northwest Indiana border now, right across the Illinois Northwest Indiana border into Lake County. So for the rest of us, there's not a whole lot going on yet. This is really the main show. You can see as we get into kind of, the southern half of the area, we're not dealing with any storms. We've been watching this storm cluster that's developed in areas of Berrien County. So Michigan City, you've heard some rumbles. You've probably had some drops of rain, but, we haven't seen anything too big out of that. LaPorte County seeing some downpours now. That's extending over into the South Bend area. But again, that is not severe as of yet. And that's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is the storm coming out of Cook County, which has carried a tornado warning with it that will likely be extended into Northwest Indiana, and that would be Lake County next. For those of you in central areas of Lake County, the Gary area, I would be on high alert for the storm. We need to keep a close eye on it. From Crown Point north, basically, is where I think this storm will have the threat of hitting. If you're in southern Lake County, doesn't look like the storm's going to hit you right now. It's going to hug pretty close to the lakeshore before it comes inland. It does look like it'll come inland. I mean, you can just look at the trajectory of it. It does look like it will come inland into areas of Porter County. So Valpo, you need to be watching this storm closely. Again, it's a little bit of a ways off, but it's going to be something that is heading your direction. And given the behavior of this, it's going to be a storm that we need to watch very carefully. So Valparaiso, Portage, Porter, over towards Chesterton, need to be on high alert for the storm. Areas down to the south in Newton and Jasper counties, it looks like the storm is going to pass north of you. Could we see development down to the southwest of it? We could, but this storm is really stealing the show right now as it continues to march south and east. It's moving south and east right around 30 miles per hour. So there's that. I'm getting a lot of your messages on there, and I see it here as well. Tornado warning has been issued for Lake and Porter County. This is exactly what we're talking about. So everything's going as expected in terms of the warnings on this. And they're going to continue it for Cook County as well. And we're thinking the tornado would be approaching the Whiting or the East Chicago area, moving southeast around 40 miles per hour now. So it is getting some legs on it. All right, so we now have an area of rotation that we're watching pretty much right over Whiting, heading into East Chicago. It is now crossed over the line right now. So if you're in Whiting, East Chicago, even the Hammond area and Gary, you need to be in your safe place right now because this storm, at least the rotating part of it, is heading right over Whiting right about now. So get in your safe place right now. That means basement. If you don't have a basement, that's okay. Just put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So bathroom, interior closet, anything like that. A couple tidbits, and this isn't to scare or anything like that, but you might want to put your shoes on. That's always a good idea. If you have some kind of storm that could produce some damage, you want to make sure you have your shoes on in case there might be some damage when you get out of your safe place. All right, just as a precaution. Another thing you might want to do is get a helmet on. I know it sounds goofy. I taught the kids at weather schools down in Georgia. We had 60 plus tornadoes while I was down there as their chief meteorologist. Everyone was safe from it. And I recommend it all the time. You put your helmet on. If you have a bike helmet, a baseball helmet, just to keep your head safe. That's it. Again, these things aren't to scare. It's just good advice that, if you have a storm that could produce some damage, doesn't mean it's going to. Those are some safeguards that you can do is put some shoes on and do that. Also have your cell phone with you. If it's not charging, get it out, put it in your pocket, go to your safe space. If you've got kids, I've got 3 kids of my own, take them down to the basement, put on a good movie and just relax, right? Just because there's a tornado warned storm or anything like that does not mean that the tornado is going to hit your house or anything like that. It just means that the storm is capable of that. So this storm is going to continue down to the south and east. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm that's been capable of producing a tornado all the way back towards Algonquin and the Schaumburg area. We have several large diameter trees have been down near Montrose Harbor in the Chicago area. They had an 84 mile per hour wind recorded at O'Hare, a 69 mile per hour gust. So we're talking 70 mile per hour wind gusts at Midway. This storm is packing a punch. If it's not a tornado, it doesn't matter. There's strong wind with this. So we need to treat it like a tornado warned storm as it moves in. So where's the strong wind right now? That strong wind is moving through Whiting. It's getting into East Chicago right now. Calumet City over towards Burnham, which is on the Illinois sides of things, likely seeing some strong winds as well. There's another pocket of strong winds off towards the north in that, which is just south of Chicago, just east of Evergreen Park. So we're not quite done with the strong winds once this system moves in. But that portion of the storm that is near Whiting right now getting into East Chicago needs watching because that's where we've got an area rotation and strong winds within it. Let me show you hail real quick. We can actually pull up the hail on this. This thing's packing a punch with a very large hail core. Anytime you see the white shaded colors in here, let me see if I can get to load. It looks like the last frame has dropped out on there, but you get the picture. There we go. It just had to load. Looks like the bulk of the very large hail is offshore, so you're likely to get some smaller hail in the Whiting and East Chicago area. Again, wind is the primary concern with this. It's not the hail, so just keep that in mind. Hail is a big concern, but it's the wind and the tornado threat that we're going to continue to watch. So if you're wondering what I keep looking at, I've got HD radar here pulled up as well. So Whiting and East Chicago right now, probably seeing some small hail, probably nickel size, dime size or nickel size. There is giant hail just offshore right now, pounding the Lake Michigan waters just offshore. And that could be on the size of like lime size and maybe baseball size hail just offshore. So in advance of this, here's what I want everyone to do. If you're in the Gary area, New Chicago, Hobart, Ogden Dunes, Portage, South Haven, anywhere in that general vicinity, which starts in Gary, I need you to get to your safe place right now. And the reason why we've got this storm is coming in your direction, you're next for this. There's going to be some very large hail with this. We have had some lightning strikes around Gary out in front of this already, so it's not safe to go outside. If you can, though, and you're south and east of that, anywhere in Porter County, or in northern and central Lake County. So that's from Crown Point north. Remember, we talked about that. Go get that car and bring it in the garage, especially with this hail, okay? The lightning in Gary, I would not go outside because that lightning is really going to pick up in intensity. Ogden Dunes, Portage, New Chicago, the lightning is getting too close to do that, okay? So I do not recommend going outside with that. But what we need to keep an eye on is that hail core and that the velocity core that we have, which is showing that rotation, which is right now over Whiting in East Chicago. All right, so if you're out ahead of this thing, you can prepare for it. Again, get the car in the garage, figure out where your safe place is. You should already know that. Basement, closet, interior room, whatever it happens to be. Get the helmet on if you have one. It's not a fashion show. Get the shoes on as well, okay, just in case. All right, so that's what we need to be doing if we're out in advance of this. Seeing a lot of questions on here. I know your sirens are going off. That's because we've got a tornado warning out. The biggest, most dangerous part of the storm right now is Whiting and East Chicago. Keep that in mind. This storm is not to Hobart yet. It's not to Maryville yet. It's not in Valparaiso yet. Valpo, you're probably another 20, 25 minutes out before you even see anything from this, okay? So this storm is far away, but they're giving us enough time to get in our safe place before it moves in. All right, let me go back to this again. Whiting, you're seeing heavy rain and hail right now. East Chicago, you're just starting to see heavy rain. Gary, you haven't had a raindrop yet, but that's about to change. Ogden Dunes, same from you. Everything's north of the Borman right now, but as the storm continues to sink down to the south, that's going to change very quickly. I'm going to go back to our reflectivity again. This shows how heavy the rain is and shows kind of the general motion for the storm. And again, it's one storm that we're watching here. It's this one storm right here, which has caused all sorts of damage back towards Cook County, with 80 plus mile per hour winds reported in the northern half of the county, 70 mile per hour winds coming towards northwest Indiana. This is a wind maker. All right. This was the threat we told you about that had the potential within these storms. These are all elevated, so there's nothing that's going to slow this down. This is going to continue to pack a punch as it continues to roll through northwest Indiana. This isn't going to do one of those splits or anything like that. But at the same time, it's coming at us from a weird direction, right? It's coming at us from the northwest. So if you're outside right now or you're in your house, you want to look to the northwest sky. That's where the storm is coming from. And I'm not expecting anything else to pop right now. All right. So just to recap, in case some new people are joining, I'm Matt Wintz, meteorologist. Thanks for finding us here on this page. We focus on region weather, and that's it. We don't cover Chicago. That's why I didn't break in when the storm is moving through Chicago. But we are, steadfast for Northwest Indiana weather, and we're going to keep you safe through this storm. I hope that's okay. So here's what we're doing. I see the question coming in. Great question from Kristen. The TV warning didn't list Dyer, St. John. Are they good? And Rich asks, when will it hit Michigan City? These are all good questions. So St. John, you're safe right now. This is going to kind of bisect. Trying to see if I can pull something else up here for you that actually has a polygon. There's the storms exploding in the atmosphere. Remember, we were like a loaded powder keg just waiting to go. The atmosphere is so unstable right now. Just give me a second here to pull up, and I'll put an overlay on here, and hopefully I'll be able to zoom in pretty well. Let me show you this real quick because this is what we talked about yesterday. See all these lines on here? You see that? How it goes from like the yellow to the red? This is the instability of the atmosphere, and it's just incredibly unstable. I can't tell you, these numbers are super high, especially as you get back into Illinois. We've got CAPE values, which is convective available potential energy, basically the buoyancy of the atmosphere. You need about 1,000 to produce a severe thunderstorm. We've got them up around 5,000 and 6,000. Even one was reported at 7,000 joules per kilogram squared. I know that's a lot, but basically, as I mentioned, you just go in the atmosphere, you'll form a thunderstorm. It's amazing how unstable we are. And that's what these storms are riding, is that instability boundary we talked about in last night's Region Weather Live. So let me see if I can get in here and get you that warning polygon. I know that's important. Just so you can tell who's in and out visually. I can tell you who's in, who's out, but I'd rather you see it as well. No, that's not going to help. This doesn't do polygons, so I'm not going to be able to do that. So I want to go back to this. This is our highest res radar that we have right now to be able to share with you. So who's in the path of the storm again? Tornado warning for Lake and Porter County, but it's not all of you. There's a lot of you that aren't going to see the storm. So Dyer, you're fine. The storm is just north of you. All right. I'm expecting it to stay just north of you. St. John, you're okay as well. You're not included in this warning. Crown Point, you're right on the line. As you get down towards Cedar Lake, Lowell, you're fine. This storm is going to stay away from you. All right. Areas that are in it. Okay. Gary, you need to be in your safe place now. And I'm not talking to, someone named Gary that's joined us here. I mean, the city of Gary. If you're anywhere in and around Gary right now, get in your safe place. Highland, Griffith, Ross, Maryville need to be in a safe place. The storm isn't quite there yet. You're starting to see some lightning strikes, but the bulk of the storm will be moving in probably 15 minutes from now. New Chicago, Lake Station, get in your safe place. Hobart as well, Portage, Porter, South Haven, you're all in the path of this storm. After that, we've got a little bit of time, okay? A little bit of time after that. So we're still talking probably 25 plus minutes. This will get into Lakes of the Four Seasons, Winfield, and then importantly, higher population in Valparaiso. Okay, so Valpo, you are in the path of the storm. We've still got quite a bit of time before this moves in, though. Okay, this storm is centered right now over Whiting, East Chicago. Hammond, you're seeing some raindrops, but the worst of it is just north of you, and Gary's about to get hit hard. Okay, this storm is coming into Gary as we speak. So in terms of wind, what we've been watching is that potential for a tornado within this. If there's not a tornado within this, all right, you're going to have very strong winds. So keep that in mind. Okay, if there's not strong winds, I don't know how you got out of this storm. Okay, because there are some very potent winds within this. Again, we had a 80 plus mile per hour wind in northern areas of Cook County. We've had 70 mile per hour winds in the southern half of Cook County, and this is still producing some very strong winds as it moves in. And it's right over Whiting, in East Chicago right now. It's heading towards Gary. That is the worst part of the storm right now, okay? Everything's moving south and east between 30 and 40 miles per hour. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here right now. All right, let me get you caught up on the Weather Service and what they're saying. So the tornado warning's expired for Cook County. They say the strongest rotation is now moving directly over the Gary airport. That's what we've been tracking. The storm's right over Gary, as we said. Let's see. In Lincoln Park, they had thunderstorm wind damage. Parking garage has been blown out in Lincoln Park. So that's just showing what kind of winds are coming with this storm as it continues to sink south, okay? But I would imagine this, Gary, you're probably seeing the winds right now. New Chicago Lake Station, you're up next. Highland, you need to be in a safe place. Griffith, Ross, Maryville, this is still a little bit north of you, but certainly has the potential to get in there shortly, okay? And that's heading in. All right, let me answer some of your questions for you. I can't answer them all, but we'll continue to talk about this. Joe asks, is the cell shrinking? Joe, that's a great question. It is not. I know it looked huge earlier. It's a little bit smaller, but it's not shrinking. It's a very compact storm. I don't see this storm weakening a whole lot, at least over the next hour or so. I think this storm is going to roll through Lake County from the center half off towards the north where that warning is. The storm's going to hit Porter County pretty good as well. That includes Valparaiso. After that, we'll see what it does, but it'll likely hit central and southern LaPorte County. It may get into Stark County as well. So just a heads up, you see the trajectory of that. We're starting to fill in the blanks in here as well. Right in this area, you can see heading into Michigan City and Berrien County. That part of the storm may end up being warned as well for some strong winds as this whole thing kind of comes together into that large complex that we've been talking about. That, you know, there was no idea where this thing was going to develop. Would it develop in Michigan, Wisconsin? Well, it looks like it's developing in our northern tier of counties heading up into Michigan. And this will be the big show as we head throughout the rest of the evening as this heads downstate. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with right now. Great question, though. Ben, it's a pretty slow mover. It's moving down to the south and east anywhere between 30 and 40 miles per hour. That's not fast. That's not highway speed or anything like that. So it's a slow mover. The problem is with the slow movement to this, it's keeping a very compact, nasty storm over the same area for quite a while. So right now, Gary's getting rocked. East Chicago, Whiting's still getting hit pretty hard. And again, we've got hail core with that. There's large hail, especially along our lakeshore right now. There's strong winds. This thing's putting down rain. We've had some flooding where it's moved through as well. So certainly a very, very compact storm as it continues down to the south and the east. Great question, though. Skylar asking, when will Cherville be in the clear? We've got a little bit of time for you. This storm is just north of you right now. You are not officially in Cherville in the warning. You're not in the tornado warning, but we've got a little bit of time before I can clear you out. I really don't think you may end up with, Skylar, you may end up not getting a drop of rain out of this. It's going to clip you just off towards the north. I think where they drew the polygon for this storm, in terms of where the tornado warning is, if you got the alert, you're in it. If not, you either have your alerts turned off or not. But I think where they drew the polygon is perfect with this storm. And again, that does not include Cherville or St. John. Does that mean you're safe from this? I think so right now. I think you'll be okay, Skylar, for there. All right. Let's see. So I'm getting a lot of questions about, and Kristen, that's because that tornado warning is so darn close to you. All right. The worst part of the storm, I think, misses you north. You may not get a drop of rain from this. In St. John, Dave, you're in the safe right now. Samantha, we are not. We are not safe in Valpo. The storm is heading in your direction. Okay. So keep that in mind. Tammy, thank you for the update about the rain that just started in the Highland area. All right. So in terms of where this storm is right now, we're getting hit real hard in East Chicago. It's about done in Whiting. Gary's getting hit right now. This storm's moving right into Gary. Lake Station, New Chicago, you're next. We're seeing the lightning already. The heavy rain's about to push in with some hail. Ogden Dunes, Portage, you're next as well as this continues south and east, eventually getting into Hobart. You're going to get hit here probably in another 5 or 10 minutes or so. South Haven, Maryville, you might get clipped by this. You need to be in your safe place just in case. But again, this storm's going to be real close to you. That's kind of the northern cutoff for this. You can see it there on radar. Hopefully you guys, know what part of the county that you are in with this storm as it continues south and east. Valparaiso, you still got probably another 20 minutes or so. This is still pretty far out from you. As that continues to work in your direction, it'll hit South Haven first. Again, it's coming off the lake. And then we'll continue to watch as it moves towards the Westville area, Wanata, Couts, all in the path of the storm. Hebron, you're going to be really close. Lakes of the Four Seasons as well. Jenny, there's not. I mean, we can measure it. It started back in northern Illinois along the Wisconsin border. We were keeping a close eye on that here in the Weather Center, and because the models didn't know where this large complex was going to initiate, and we were watching that storm really closely, and it started to initiate there, and that's really the history of the storm. It started there, and we've been continuing to watch it as it moves southeast. So, for sure. Okay, Weather Service update for you real quick. Weather Service agrees kind of with what we talked about. The potential for additional storms looks low. It looks like this is our main storm this evening. So Newton and Jasper County, you may get out of this without anything. Jasper County, we're going to hold off on that because this is sinking down to the south. Spotter reported a rotating wall cloud at Main Street and Indianapolis Boulevard in the Highland area. That would go hand in hand with our tornado warned storm. Same thing, right? But they think there's a funnel cloud with the storm as well, right over Gary. And this continues. Yep. There's a funnel coming from the wall cloud. And that's, guys, I know those are all shocking words, right? And I know it's like, wow, something's actually happening. But this is everything we've been talking about right now. Okay. So get in your safe place. You guys know where that safe place is, I hope. All right. Basement. If you don't have a basement, no problem. Go to an interior room. Okay. Closet, whatever it happens to be, you want to put as many walls between where you are in your safe place and the outside as possible. A couple reminders I talked about at the beginning. Get your shoes on. And why do I say get your shoes on? If there's any threat that a storm is going to produce some damage, whether it be structural damage, whatever it is, tosses some things around, you want to have your shoes on when you get out of that, when you get out of your safe place, right? You don't want to be barefoot. So get your shoes on. If you have a helmet, sports helmet, motorcycle helmet, whatever it happens to be. I know it sounds goofy, but get it on, protect your head. If you've got kids, it's okay. Get them to a safe place, stay calm, everything's fine. But again, get to the safe place, throw on a movie, get their blanket or stuffed animals, whatever you have to be, make them feel safe. This doesn't need to be a scary event. All right. We need to stay safe through this. That's the important part. All right, so here's the update in terms of what I'm seeing on velocity. So this is the other thing you want to do, guys. Grab your cell phone, put it in your pocket. Hopefully you're streaming in case power goes out. That way you can continue to get this. All right, so what I'm seeing right now, we've actually got two different areas that are rotating within this. I've seen a couple of you ask, and this is an important one I want to answer real quick. Brittany says, I'm on the top floor of an apartment. Brittany, that's okay. Sky rises downtown, same idea, right? They've got problems. You want to get to the lowest floor if you can, an interior room, okay? If you were in a sky rise downtown Chicago, you just get to the interior, all right? The whole structure is typically built the same. But if you're, an apartment here in Northwest Indiana, you likely want to get to the bottom floor if you can, interior room. So whether it be a hallway, whatever it happens to be, okay? All right, so the funnel, Elizabeth's asking about the funnel cloud we talked about. They saw it right over the Gary Airport, and then it's now moved to Main Street and Indianapolis Boulevard, which is in the Highland area. And that coincides with where I'm seeing the strongest rotation right now. So let me give you a new list. This is an updated list of who needs to be in their safe place right now and who is in the clear right now. So that area rotation that I'm watching right now is now south and east of Gary. So this is right over where 65 meets up with 90 and 94, okay, right in that interchange. That's where we're seeing the area of rotation. That rotation is going to get into New Chicago shortly. Lake Station, get in your basement or bathroom is okay. Brenda's asking, is bathroom okay in mobile home? Yes, Brenda. Is any interior room that can do it, whether you have a closet in there or a bathroom, you just want to put some walls between you and the outside, okay? My computer just went in sleep mode over here. 1 second. There we go. I just need to jiggle my mouse a little bit more. Okay, 1 second, everybody. I'm going to pull this back up real quick. Okay, we're back. All right. So yes, that's okay. Daryl, you're welcome for sure. I appreciate that. Stay safe, Daryl, whatever you happen to do. Christy's asking, is Munster clear yet? I think you are, Christy. Let me check. Oh, yes, you are. Give it another 5 minutes just in case for the Munster area, okay? All right, so here we go. Danette, you're welcome. Stay safe. Get those kids, get them all safe there. Get them in their little safe place. Okay, so here we go. Here's what we've got going on. In terms of that rotation, it's just to the east of Gary now. As I mentioned, it's right over where 65 meets up with 80 and 94, 80, 94. And New Chicago, Hobart, you're going to be in the path of that rotation where that rotating funnel cloud probably is right now. I can't tell you what it looks like in the sky. I can tell you what it looks like on radar. So New Chicago, Hobart, anywhere, Maryville, you're going to be really close to this. I think it'll be on the north side of town, should stay north of US 30 through your neck of the woods. We're going to watch as that heads towards Valparaiso after this, though. Portage, you need to be in your safe place as well as the storm continues south and east. South Haven, now's a good time to do that. Who's clear right now? Highland, we look okay right now. Maybe give it another 5 minutes. It looks like the worst of it's east of you. Griffith, it looks like you're in the clear now. Ross, Maryville, again, I would still say in your safe place. Crown Point, St. John, Cherville, you're fine. You're not going to get a drop of rain from this. Cedar Lake, you're fine as well. Lowell, you're fine. This storm is north and east of you. It's going to be heading into the Porter County area shortly, crossing that line from Lake County into Porter County. So Valpo, if you're in Valparaiso right now or you have friends and family there, the storm is heading in the direction of downtown Valparaiso. So keep that in mind. We've got a little bit of time before it gets there, but that is the general direction of the storm. Another element to throw into this, again, we've got large hail with the storm. We've got very strong winds. If you get a tornado or not, we've got strong enough winds to cause tornado-like damage. We've seen 70 to 80 mile per hour winds with the storm as it's moved south and east, and it's packing a punch. So tornado or not, please get in your safe place and treat this like a tornado-warned storm, which it is right now, and it will likely continue to be. Another element we're seeing now, I mentioned this part of the storm right in here is going to fill in. And look, it has filled in quite nicely. We've now got a strong storm pushing off the lake. It's not severe thunderstorm warned, but I would imagine we'll probably have a warning issued on that shortly. And that would be for the Chesterton area, Westville, Michigan City. You've got a decent line coming off the lake. There's some strong winds with that. Nothing tornadic as of right now in that portion of the storm. But if you're in areas from Chesterton up towards the town of Pines, Michigan City, and then over towards LaPorte and LaPorte County, we don't have a tornado coming your way, but we've got some strong winds developing on Lake Michigan right now that are likely going to roll south and east as that line continues to fill in. Again, this is our giant complex of storms getting organized. It's coming together. You get these bits and pieces of storms that are kind of coming together to form this big complex of storms that's going to roll through the region here. Southwestern Lake County, I don't think we're going to see a drop of rain from this entire thing. Newton County, I don't think you're going to get anything either. You're probably looking at it off towards the north. Areas that are getting hit, Lake County, obviously, Porter County is going to get hit, LaPorte County is going to get hit, Stark County. We'll keep our eye on northern areas of Jasper County, okay? But the most concerning part of the storm right now continues to be centered right over North Chicago. That's where our tornado warning is, and that's where the area of rotation is right now. That is the most dangerous part of the storm, which is over New Chicago. It's heading into Hobart here in probably 3 or 4 minutes. So if you're in and around the Hobart area, please get to your safe place right now as the storm continues in your direction. Lake Station, you should already be in your safe place. The storm's packing a punch. There's lots of lightning with it as well. Over towards Portage and South Haven, you're up next. This will continue to head south towards US 30 as well, which connects with Valparaiso from Maryville. So that'll be another area we need to watch as well. Up towards Gary, we've still got some gusty winds and some lightning and some hail around, so it's not safe to come out. But up towards East Chicago, Hammond, Highland, Griffith, Whiting, things look okay right now to come out. I think the storm is past you. We should be clearing things out nicely. So what are we going to see? Let's talk, for example, if I'm in Portage right now, we're getting heavy rain. It's just moving in. If I'm in Hobart or South Haven right now, what am I going to see as this moves in? You're going to have heavy rain and some hail that hits you pretty quickly. There's lots of thunder and lightning with this as well. You're going to have some strong winds, very strong winds as this moves in. The strong winds aren't uniform across the whole storm. They're kind of spotty. And then we've got that area of rotation we're watching as well. So the winds are spotty, but we've got very, very strong winds in those spotty areas, right? So in Valparaiso, I think the storm's another probably 10, 15 minutes before this moves in. And again, I think the most dangerous part of the storm is heading in your direction. So please keep that in mind. Best to know where you're going to go right now. Again, if you're in the Valparaiso, let's fast forward to Westville, Wanata, Couts, La Crosse, Hanna. This gets into the areas of LaPorte County. Now is a good idea to go get that car and put it in a garage if you get a chance, because there's some big hail with this as well, in addition to the strong winds. Okay, so do that for me before this storm hits. This storm is right over Gary. Ogden Dunes getting hit real hard right now. Lightning, very heavy rain and hail. Burns Harbor seeing some pretty decent hail right now in addition to heavy rain. Chesterton, you're getting into the rain as well. This stretches up towards Michigan City. Remember that line stretches up towards the north and the east. So we're seeing some heavy rain and lightning there as well, in addition to gusty winds. But boy, the core of this right now is getting right into Lake Station. So if you're in Lake Station, New Chicago, over towards Portage, the core of this system is moving in right now. All right. Blanca, great question. Hammond, we've cleared things out. All right. So you're okay in Hammond to come on out of your safe place. We look good in the Hammond area. Okay. Yep. Deanna's saying sirens in Winfield. Let me check the weather service just to see if there's any latest updates on this. Let's see. And keep your questions coming. Guys, I want you to keep this in mind too. We've done this, past storm coverage that we've had before. You are the community, right? I started Region Weather to cover Northwest Indiana because we didn't have coverage from Chicago stations, right? So we've been doing this for a long time. And nice to meet you, by the way. I used to be the chief at WYIN in Maryville a long time ago. So welcome to Region Weather. So keep in mind, you are the community on the side over there. So if you have reports or something's going on, if there's anything you see, please tell each other in that as well. I encourage most of you to keep the chat open on there. It's an open conversation. It's a chat room, essentially, okay? So feel free to give your reports, see what you're saying, ask questions for anyone that's anywhere else, okay? Let me load up this weather service chat real quick. Okay, and I'm going to pull up Northwest or Northern Indiana as well. I'm going to get in that chat room. Here we go. So we're talking hand in hand with the weather service, which we need to. Okay, just a couple minutes ago, mid-level rotation increasingly just east of Gary, west of Lake Station. That's what we've been tracking. Moving towards South Haven, Wheeler, even if not producing a tornado storm, producing widespread wind damage. That's nothing that we haven't known about. And we've had hail, quarter-size hail reported in the Hobart area. And that's with that hail core that continues to move in with us. Let me grab some water too. I'm getting a little scratchy. All right, appreciate it. Okay, so we still have our tornado warning. Let me clear out of these real quick too, if that's okay. Just want to get set up for success here. Okay, very good. Okay, so we still have our tornado warning out for Lake County. We're almost done in Lake County, okay? Once the storm's out of Lake County, your threat's over. Thank goodness, right? This is really becoming more of a Porter County situation here, heading into the Portage, the South Haven area. This storm is getting into Portage right now. You're feeling it. If you're in the Portage area, it's probably, you've got large hail right now, strong winds, lots of lightning, heavy rain. This is a legit storm getting into Portage. South Haven, it's starting to pick up in intensity. Chesterton, it is for you too right now. Valpo, you might be, if you're on the northern side of Valpo right now, probably seeing some raindrops starting to hit. That's the storm moving in. Lakes of the Four Seasons, boy, I think this storm might miss you just to the north. Maryville, this storm, I think, is just going to miss you to the north. It's literally US 30 and north is where we're starting to see raindrops, and I think it's going to slide by you. So Maryville might miss out on this altogether. Even though you're still in that tornado warning, I think that polyground was drawn perfectly by the Weather Service. They did a great job with that. I don't want to miss out on you over towards Michigan City. You're getting a real good storm right now. I don't know why that's not severe. I would imagine it probably feels like a severe thunderstorm heading into Michigan City. I don't see a tornado threat there. Some hail, though, some strong winds, lots of lightning and heavy rain coming off as that line fills in. You can kind of see it there heading into LaPorte County. So real strong heavy rains there. That goes up to Long Beach, Michiana Shores, Springfield, Trail Creek, seeing some heavy rain and lots of lightning right now. I would treat that like a severe thunderstorm, although it's not warned. It should be warned right now. I'll tell you that. Becky's asking about report. Timothy, Maryville, you're so close to this. Just hang on just for a second, buddy. Again, this storm is just to the north of you. I do think you're in the clear. My gut says you're in the clear, but just to be safe, let's just hang out for a little bit in your safe place, okay? All right, so next in the path of the storm, again, Valparaiso's next, South Haven's next. South Haven, you're about to go downhill quickly with that hail moving in. Let me check a couple things here. I want to check where our hail core is. Oh, man, yeah, this hail just got bigger, and it got bigger, and it's moving inland now. So Portage, South Haven likely seeing some giant hail right now. There's a very large hail core with this. Valparaiso, it's almost a sure bet that you're going to see some large hail here as this moves in. This hail core is solid, and it's not going anywhere. So Valpo, be prepared for some large hail to move in. Again, I mentioned it maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago to move that car in the garage. You don't have much time left, but if you have a chance to run outside real quick and you can do it safely, move that car in the garage, whatever it happens to be, because there's some large hail heading your way. Chesterton, you're going to get some smaller hail. The big core of the hail right now is right over Portage and South Haven, heading towards Valparaiso. Wanata, Couts, La Crosse, Hanna, Westville even, get that car in the garage because that tornado is coming your way. Or not the tornado, the hail is coming your way, okay? What I want to check on is our tornado threat. There's a very messy signature right now for rotation coming out of the storm into Porter County. What I mean by that is there's not a clear-cut area that's rotating where I can say there's a tornado threat right there. By indication and watching kind of where this has gone in the past and where that threat for that wall cloud has been and all that stuff, it would likely be just to the south and east of Hober right now. So it's probably crossing US 30 right now, just to the west of Valpo. The tornado threat is still there up towards Portage, South Haven, Valparaiso as well. But again, if I were to track where that area rotation was, where that wall cloud and funnel cloud was reported, that would be just to the north of Lakes of the Four Seasons and west of Valparaiso right now. And it would head towards the southwest side of Valpo, okay? We also have very strong winds which are developing. I'm telling you, the storm needs to be severe. It's not warned right now, but heading into Westville, Chesterton and Westville likely seeing some very powerful winds right now. And that storm is not severe weather warned, and it should be. So keep that in mind. If you're in LaPorte County right now, or the Chesterton area, northeastern portions of Porter County, we need to treat that like a severe thunderstorm because there's strong wind with it. I don't see a tornado threat with that portion of the storm, but there's strong winds, there's hail, there's high wind or heavy rain and lots of lightning with that. That will get into LaPorte here shortly. But it's really this Porter County cell as you get into the South Haven, Portage area. That's the area that we're watching for rotation, okay? A couple things I want to remind you of. Gales, says, I believe sirens go off for warning, then go off again for all clear. So Gail and everybody, the sirens are meant to tell you when there's a tornado warning. The sirens don't tell you when there's an all clear, all right? They tell you when a tornado warning's been reissued, which the Weather Service will do sometimes. They'll kind of cut the area that the tornado warning's going out for. But tornado sirens are not meant for you to hear indoors. They're meant for you to hear outdoors if you're stuck outdoors and you have no idea, right? So don't rely on the sirens. The sirens also mean you're under tornado warning, which we know, right? We're under tornado warning for a little bit longer in Lake County, and this is going to get into Portage County here shortly, which we've talked about. The threat's actually already into Portage County, or Porter County, sorry, not Portage County. I'm thinking of Portage because they're getting hit right now. But keep that in mind. The tornado siren just means that they have issued a tornado warning. A lot of these emergency systems are set up so that when the Weather Service issues a tornado warning, it triggers that, your siren goes off. Siren's meant to be heard outside, not inside your house. You're meant to get the alerts on your cell phone now. So I hope you're signed up for that. But just want you to know that's kind of what the siren deal is. And they don't tell you when it's all clear, at least not to my understanding. I've never heard of a tornado warning that tells you when it's clear. They tell you when there's something in danger, right? In terms of all clear, Lake County, a little bit longer and you'll be all clear. And that's some great news. All right, let me catch up real quick on the Weather Service and what they're saying. The reason why you heard the warning again is because they reissued the tornado warning for Lake and Porter County. Okay, they were just kind of cutting it back a little bit, trimming it up, and fixing it, which is great. Let's see. Navy Pier, they had a 64 knot wind gust measured that goes hand in hand with everything else. Spotters reported low level rotation at 93rd and Broadway in Crown Point. That seems a little far south. Yeah, I don't see the rotation down towards Crown Point. Crown Point's not getting, they didn't even see a drop of rain down in Crown Point. I don't know if I agree with that report, but that's a spotter report, so I won't argue it. Let's see, and I don't see anything else on there. Weather Service does say, based on radar, the circulation may track just to the southwest of Valparaiso. That's what we talked about. Even so, storm is producing damaging winds even far away from the circulation, right? So that's, none of that is new information for us. That's good news. We want to keep it so that you know exactly what's going on with this. All right, so we're getting to the point where this storm is at the center and even eastern half of its tornado warned area. So there's areas that are real close to where this threat is that are not warned right now, and that kind of concerns me. I'm sure they're going to extend this. Hey, and look what we got. We got a severe thunderstorm warning finally for LaPorte, and again, that is for LaPorte County, and that includes LaPorte, Rolling Prairie, Westville, about to see some heavy rain right now with this line. That is now a severe thunderstorm warning out for you. That is not the same part of the storm as this tornado warned storm. The tornado warned part of the storm is right here, right in Porter County, center half of the county right now. Valparaiso, your conditions are about to go downhill and about to go downhill quickly. So keep that in mind, okay? You're likely seeing some raindrops right now. You've heard the thunder. Things are going to go downhill quickly in terms of you're going to start to see some large hail. That's going to come with very heavy rain. It's also going to come with strong winds, all right? Not everyone's going to see the strong winds with this, all right? It has been spotty within the thunderstorm. It's not a wall of wind. It's a wall of hail within this, but it's not a wall of wind. But as that wind comes in, the potential is there for 70 to 80 mile per hour gusts. We've already seen that with the same storm as it continues to head south and east, okay? So let me look at a couple other things here. Let's go back to wind. Yeah, it's just it's a very messy area of rotation right now. So there's that area of rotation, which is now south of Valparaiso, where it's not even raining. There's another area of rotation, which is developed north and west of you. None of these are strong indicators that there's a tornado on the ground. There could just be a funnel cloud or a wall cloud with these. Again, it doesn't scream tornado to me, all right? It screams tornado threat, all right? So it could drop at any time, but I think your biggest threat right now is going to be those strong wind gusts and the hail that's moving in. We're also seeing very strong winds up towards Chesterton. This is that storm I talked about. I think some of the strongest winds are actually heading into Westville right now. You are not under a tornado warning in Westville. You're under severe thunderstorm warning. And this wind is really packing a punch as it moves in. Lots of lightning and rain heading into downtown LaPorte right now. Your severe threat is there. You've got some hail, some strong winds, and heavy rain and lightning with this. But the tornado threat for LaPorte, we'll keep our eye on it. There is some rotation starting to develop within that storm, but I think it's primarily, as of right now, a strong wind threat as that moves in. Some pretty big hail reports coming out of Michigan. There's also heavy rain reports, just for example, of how heavy this rain is that's moving in. 30 to 35 minutes, they saw about an inch and a quarter of rain. So we're talking rainfall rates at 2 inches per hour with this. That's incredible. So it's going to come down. Again, this is, if we go back in time, we talk about these big thunderstorms that we get in the summer and how, we don't see big storms very often. This is one of those storms, folks. Especially as you get into Porter County, LaPorte County, even Stark County, this is going to be one of those doozy kind of storms. I mean, it is packing a punch and it's not going anywhere. This thing is elevated, meaning it's not really rooted down with the surface. That's why the lake doesn't bother it. It doesn't care what's going on from here up into the clouds. A lot of storms do. This storm is elevated, meaning it's way up high. It's got its own atmosphere that it's feeding off of, and it's just going to keep rolling, right? So it really, nothing's going to slow this thing down, I guess I could say, all right, in terms of that. All right, let's see. So let's get into who's seeing it right now. I'm seeing a lot of you commenting in the Westville area. Brittany, in terms of Maryville, this storm, you got a lot of thunder and lightning there still, but the bulk of this storm is just off towards your east, and you should be done in Maryville. Gary, I can pretty much clear you out as well. Hobart, New Chicago, you're about done. Seeing a lot of comments coming in about, you're welcome, Mike, for sure. Yes, Kim, Maryville looks okay right now. Oh, Susie says she caught the funnel cloud over Maine and Indianapolis perfectly. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Susie, if you don't mind, I would be happy to share that with everyone after this is out of here, but just private message us if you can, okay? All right, so let's talk about Westville real quick. So in Westville, you've got the heavy rain and lightning that just started, right? The lightning's been ongoing, but the heavy rain just kicked in. The wind is really going to pick up, and if you're on the west side of town, you're already feeling it. But if you're right in downtown Westville right now, that wind is going to pick up in probably 20, 30 seconds. We've got very strong wind that's moving in. That is straight line wind coming into Westville. That's not rotation that I'm seeing. It's just damaging winds. And it's strong, probably 60, 70 miles per hour. Chesterton's still seeing some wind. Valparaiso, you've got rotation right over you right now. That's nothing to be scared of. We just need to be in a safe place right now. The rotation's not strong. Again, it's messy. It extends back towards South Haven, but there's lots of lightning right now. It's a very electric storm. And in terms of hail, that hail is not to be messed with. It is moving right into Valparaiso right now. We talked about this about 20 minutes ago to bring the cars in. I hope you did, because Valparaiso is seeing some big hail moving into town right now. If any of you see hail or have had hail, can you let me know what size you're seeing? I don't know if I've seen that on there. Anne is in this right now. If anyone's not taking the storm seriously, this is what Anne's, where'd Anne's comment go? Anne says, unbelievable rain and wind with this. This is one of those storms. Caroline, you need to be in your safe place right now. There's a large hail core coming in. There's very strong winds, and there's very heavy rain and lots of lightning with this. Tornado threat is still there. I don't see a real strong indicator that we've got, real tight rotation in a very small space. That's good news. Let's keep it that way. But there's likely a funnel cloud or a wall cloud moving south with this system. So the storm is rotating. Storms can rotate all the time. That's not a big deal. But the fact the storm's rotating and is forming a funnel cloud in spots, it may lift, it may go back up, and come back down. But we need to just take this, just in case, take it like a tornado warning, like something would be happening, okay? Okay, here we go. So Weather Service just said, planning to cautiously convert the tornado warning to a severe thunderstorm warning in Porter County. The rotation is not as strong as before, and we haven't had any recent reports. So that's good, and they just did that. So it's got a tornado possible tag with it. But the good news is that tornado warning itself is going to be allowed to expire, and they're changing it over to a severe thunderstorm warning as it continues south and east. That's great news. And I would totally agree with that. That's what we've been talking about, how that rotation's not as clear cut anymore. It's kind of messy. To me, the most dangerous part of the storm, we've got the hail in Valpo right now. There's still some strong winds with that. That's dangerous enough, the large hail. But in terms of wind energy from this, Westville right now has the strongest wind. It's moving right through Westville. It's going to be heading into the Wanata area, probably in 5 to 10 minutes, the wind and the rain. Hannah, Kingsford Heights, Kingsbury, probably in another 15 minutes or so. So that, to me, is the most dangerous part of the storm. There's also a pretty ugly part of the storm developing back towards South Bend. If you have friends and family there, it's actually just east of South Bend. It's over towards the Elkhart area. There's an area of damaging winds heading south with that as well. So this is outside of our region weather coverage area, but Elkhart, Goshen, Dunlap, those areas are going to get hit pretty hard by some very strong winds next couple minutes or so with another part of that storm. But by and large, we've got some wind energy of our own and some wind damage to report out of this storm as it continues to just plow south and east through areas of Porter County and now affecting areas of LaPorte County, okay? Let me try to clear some folks out because I know you hang on here until you hear the all clear, and I totally get that. Let me see. And I'm behind on your comments. Here we go. I'm seeing a lot of you see it's done in the Portage area, and you're absolutely right. There's still a lot of lightning, so don't go outside or anything like that. The storm is just an electric storm. But the rain is wrapping up in Portage. The hail is wrapping up in Portage as well. Lake Station, again, still a lot of lightning in Lake County from the storm. You get the thunderstorm that goes way up. You've got the Anvil cloud that comes over you. That can still produce lightning. So we don't want to say, hey, it's all clear and the rain has stopped. Well, there's still lightning strikes around, and lightning strikes outside of thunderstorms. Keep that in mind. So not a good time to go outside and do stuff like that. But in terms of the rain and the hail, it's getting out of Portage right now. South Haven, probably another 5 to 10 minutes and this thing's clear. Hobart, you're in the clear right now. Maryville, what did I tell you? You didn't even see a drop of rain in town. This thing stayed north of you. Crown Point, you were completely fine. Cherryville, St. John, you're fine. Gary, you're clear now. East Chicago, Whiting, clear. Hammond, clear. Hebron, you're fine with this. It's not even going to hit you. Wheatfield, DeMont, not going to hit you. Couts, you're probably going to get clipped just off towards the north, but I think this misses you as well. La Crosse, Wanata, those are two areas we need to watch where the storm is headed. It's heading also towards Hannah, Kingsford Heights, Kingsbury, Stillwell, Kankakee, and this is the one out towards LaPorte County, eventually getting into Stark County. So Knox, we need to keep an eye on this. I think you're going to get hit with a pretty potent cell as well. And it's in LaPorte right now. We've got another hail course throwing up in LaPorte. That stretches back towards Westville, Valparaiso. Valpo, you've probably got another 15, 20 minutes of the storm. It looks like the worst is either over you or just east of town right now, with some large hail, but also very heavy rain and lots of lightning. Okay, so that's some good news that we're starting to even clear that out. The wind energy just south of Westville heading towards Wanata and Hannah is impressive right now. Probably seeing 70 to 80 mile per hour winds as this row kind of rolls its way into areas of central, western LaPorte County. So this is now becoming a LaPorte County problem and not a Porter County problem. This is going to be heading out of Porter County here shortly. Another area rotation that I'm watching just north of Couts. I do think it misses you, but La Crosse and Wanata probably be best to be in a safe place right now, despite the fact we don't have a tornado warning. Let's just treat this like that with some of the wind. Okay, we are now tornado warning free. That's good news. The strongest part of the storm now just southeast of Valparaiso. We know that. We've talked about that. Valpo, train spotter, reported nickel-sized hail with this. 70 mile per hour winds, and that's in Michigan, southern Michigan. More wind reported out over the water. Let me get a drink of water. My voice is gone. Scott, you're welcome, buddy. Scott says, thank you for the coverage. You're welcome, Scott, for sure. Jenny's asking for an app. I know. Jenny, if I didn't have 3 kids, I would do an app for sure. You guys, your support of Region Weather is enough. I don't need, I know an app would be great. I get it. But you know, your support's enough for that. Okay. And I certainly appreciate it. Jake's asking, how's it looking for Fort Wayne? Jake, let's check it out for you. Let me zoom out and give you something different to look at here. Get the warnings off of here. Okay. And let's slide this over real quick. That should do. No, that doesn't do. It's the same thing. We're going to zoom out just a little bit. All right. So here's the big picture look for this. Look at these massive storms. This is that giant complex that we've been talking about that was going to develop, right? So we've got, the tail end of this is moving right through Northwest Indiana right now. Porter County into LaPorte County. Stark County are next. We've got rough weather over towards South Bend right now. Fort Wayne isn't quite in this yet, but gosh, they will be soon. Just it's a matter of time before this moves into Fort Wayne. Yeah, they're going to have to watch the stuff coming out of South Bend. So this portion right here is likely going to hit Fort Wayne. And they've probably got another maybe hour and a half before this moves in, but likely some rough weather over there. And what you get with these individual storms, these are just individual monster storms along this. You get these cores of hail and wind. And just remember this, right? Because we talk about potential a lot. A lot of days there's potential for the atmosphere to really produce some big storms. And a lot of times we'll tell you about that potential and the storms miss us or they go north or whatever it happens to be, all right? The potential was there today. And there was also potential that the atmosphere would be extremely unstable and nothing would get tapped into and we'd be completely dry, right? But these storms fired up. They're actually tapping into that incredible potential of energy we have right now. I mean, the instability has just been off the charts today because of the humidity, the heat, and the amount of buoyancy in the atmosphere. So these storms are tapping into that, but they don't always, right? Sometimes these storms miss us, all that good stuff. Storms today are living up to the expectations in terms of what the models were calling for. They didn't exactly form where the models were calling, and we talked about in last night's Region Weather Live that, you know what, I think the models missed this big time. They didn't grasp onto it. They never do in these summer setups. It's always very, very sloppy. But now that they're going, we have a good idea that this is the beginning of that large complex of storms. This will roll through the Fort Wayne area. It's going through South Bend now. This will likely head through Toledo, Ohio, down towards Dayton. You see the storms developing further off towards the north. Those will affect Michigan. Those will probably roll over towards the Cleveland area and areas in northern Ohio tonight. But this whole thing is forming this giant complex of storms. And all those lines on here, that's the instability of the atmosphere, the CAPE, as we call it. So you see those really high numbers where we have the reds and the pinks. That is an incredible amount of buoyancy or ability to lift in the atmosphere. And that's what these storms are tapping into. You notice we talked about last night the train tracks that get laid down where you have the really unstable air and the not so and the pretty stable air. Where that boundary is where these storms are going. And you'll notice you can kind of see it on there where this color, like basically where that rainbow line is there, that's where these storms are tracking right along that boundary. And they're going to continue to do so. We got to keep our eye on some of these. There's a little bit of pop back here towards Illinois. I could see that developing and maybe curling down through our southern counties later. Just saying. The models aren't showing that, but that could be something to watch. All right, so where are we right now? Let me get caught up on the Weather Service. It's all about heat after this. Remember, we've talked about the hot weather that's coming tomorrow, oppressively hot. Still talking severe thunderstorm warning, no tornado warnings at this time. That's good news. Okay, so let's get back to the radar. I want to give you some new analysis here as we are now all under severe thunderstorm warnings. Porter County, you're almost clear from this. There's still some strong wind within the storm on the back edge of it. But after that, we should clear out. There's still a lot of thunder and lightning as well. But this is now going to become a LaPorte County problem. And LaPorte County, I got to say, you're almost in the clear from this as well. I know there's heavy rain moving through, but this is about out of your area. This all has eyes on Stark County. And so if you're in Stark County, Hamlet, Knox, North Judson, Bass Lake, all those areas are going to be in the path of the storm as it continues down to the south and the east. So what to expect from this? Hail is pretty much a guarantee with this. That hail core remains very solid. It's not going anywhere. Strong winds and very heavy rain in addition to lightning. This storm is still over the Westville area. It's starting to weaken a little bit. You've noticed in Westville itself, you notice the rain has gotten a little bit lighter. It's still coming down pretty good. Wanata right now is getting hit pretty hard. La Crosse and Hanna are next as the storm continues southeast. Valparaiso, you're about in the clear. The rain is starting to wrap up. Your hail is probably done. Still a lot of thunder and lightning around, but the storm is heading out of your neck of the woods. As we extend north and east over towards LaPorte County, Kingsbury, Kingsford Heights right now seeing some very heavy rain. You're getting hit pretty hard there. Stillwell is seeing some very heavy rain, some hail perhaps moving into your neck of the woods, some strong winds. That will eventually get into the North Liberty, Kankakee, Walkerton area, over towards Tyner, Hamlet, and Kuntz Lake as well. Lakeville over towards South Bend, seeing it as this kind of forms a line that stretches from South Bend back into the La Crosse area. So Wanata's getting hit pretty hard right now. You've got a decent hail core coming in. Guys, I'm still seeing there's still rotation with this. There's very strong wind just north of Wanata heading towards Hanna, likely 70 to 80 mile per hour. So we're not going to slack on the storm, folks. But the other area of rotation right now is just, I mentioned this earlier, it's just north in the east of the Couts area heading into La Crosse. There's still some rotation with this. So I know it's severe thunderstorm warned, but it doesn't hurt to get down to the basement just in case. Again, if you don't have a basement, that's okay. Just get to an interior room until the storm has passed, given its history as it's gone back towards the west. Gary Airport with this storm as it moved through, just getting a report now from a 59 mile per hour wind gust. Reports of tree limbs down, multiple alarms across Steuben County. That's not here. I believe that's Michigan. St. Joseph County, we saw some hail. They saw 54 mile per hour winds out over the lake. Weather Service is keeping an eye on some of the rotation, which we just talked about. They have some pea-sized hail with this as well. So again, there's a couple chunks of the storm that we need to watch, but the most important one right now is moving through areas of southern LaPorte County, southeastern portions of Porter County, just north of Couts, and then this is eventually going to cross into the La Crosse area, and then eventually into Stark County. All right, those are the areas that I'm concerned with right now. We still do have severe thunderstorm warnings out for all of LaPorte County for the most part. And we'll continue to watch that. But again, this storm is pushing south and east. So we're now clear in areas like Michigan City. We're looking good. Chesterton, we're looking great. Still some lightning outside. So please do not go outside. We'll go from there. Okay. All right. Let me get to your questions now. I know I've been in radar analysis, so I haven't been looking at questions. I'm so sorry. Beth, thank you. Not bad in Westville at all. No hail, small amount of rain and winds calm. Good. Things have cleared up. Elizabeth says, region weather comes up on my feed now. That's great. Susan asks a good question. Am I okay to leave work now and drive from Valpo to Maryville? Susan, go ahead and get in that car. Just watch out for any, residual limbs down or branches or anything like that. Susan, you are okay to drive. It looks completely good from there back to Maryville. Lake County, you're completely clear right now. I would love to have you hang out with us, but that's okay if you don't. Go do summer things, okay? It looks good outside. We should be good. Let me see. Oh, you're so sweet. Susan, I appreciate that. You are absolutely welcome. And that is my hope as well. Again, we don't do this for clicks. We don't do this for anything else other than keeping you safe, because that is what you deserve. And Chicago coverage doesn't always do that for us, does it? So anytime you can support region weather, that's all I ask. All right. So I certainly appreciate it. Nicole asks, is Michigan City clear? Michigan City is clear. Still some lightning out there, Nicole. Rain is you probably still have some drip drops, but that should end here shortly. It's probably ending right now, but there's still some lightning. So again, not good to be outside, but clear from tornadoes or anything like that. Michigan City is good to go now. Chesterton, you are good to go now. Valpo, I can clear you out now. Again, still lightning outside. Don't go outside. The cloud goes up 55,000 feet in the atmosphere, and there's lightning that comes out of that. Okay. Not saying it'll get you, but let's not risk it. Okay. Carol saying back in the Griffith area, yeah, you're completely fine in Griffith. You are all done. This storm is now heading into LaPorte County. It's far away. Tara asks, is northern LaPorte clear? Yes, from the severe part of the storm, yes, there's still some rain there and still some lightning. You've got probably another 10 minutes or so of rain in northern LaPorte, but clear from severe weather, yes. Cameron, you're welcome, buddy. I appreciate your support. Elizabeth, that's the problem with Facebook feeds for sure. Kathy, no funnel clouds in the last 25 minutes or so. That's the good news, but there were funnel clouds reported back in Lake County, and then especially back in the Illinois side of things. Let's see, widespread tree and property damage in a subdivision. That's Streamwood, so that's back towards Chicago. Not a big deal. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see. You're welcome. Absolutely. Ashley, that's my job. And it looks like you have kiddos based on your picture there. So I understand how that is. I've got 3 of my own. And it's all about teaching during events like this, right? Stay calm for the whole things. Yep. Daniel, Lake Station looks good. Hobart's good as well. You guys are completely clear. This storm continues down towards Wanata is not in the clear yet. La Crosse, Hamlet, Hannah, Kingsford Heights, Kankakee. I know we're getting a little bit more rural as we get into these areas, but those are the areas that are still going to get hit. LaPorte, I can clear you out as well. You've got some rain and some lightning. Westville, you're clear as well. You've got rain and lightning, but the worst of this is now south and east of you. Allie, Stark County is why we're on right now, because this storm has not hit you yet, and it's moving in as we speak. It's about to cross from LaPorte into Stark County. So if you're in the Knox area, Hamlet, Kuntz Lake, North Judson, St. Pierre, you might be okay. But Bass Lake, you're not. This storm is going to cross in. There's not a tornado threat right now. We're going to continue to keep an eye on some areas of rotation, but it's a strong wind, heavy rain, and hail threat that's moving in. You can talk to anyone in our feed right here that's gone through the bulk of the storm, and it's legit. This is a real good storm for sure. Chris, you're welcome, for sure. Eric, great question. Anything in Warsaw, North Webster, Indiana area? Yes, it should be either there now or moving in shortly. Yeah, so this is going to be moving in shortly to you, Eric. First of all, enjoy vacation. I hope you're enjoying yourself. we covered this briefly earlier. It's outside of our area. We got to cut off the border somewhere, right? But there are really strong winds that came out of Elkhart, went through Goshen. Those strong winds are now in New Paris and Millersburg, eventually into Milford, which is just north of you. So you've probably got, I don't know if those winds are going to hit you directly depending on where you are, but there's this storm's coming your way. It's forming a nice line. You can see it there on the radar. It's all kind of come together as a line, and that's packing a punch with some very, very strong winds. So yeah, you're about to get hit probably if you're in the North Webster area. Gosh, probably another 45 minutes to an hour, maybe sooner than that if you get that first chunk that comes in. But yeah, these storms have yet to go through in that area. Beth, you're welcome. And you're welcome, everyone that said that. Missy asks, what are the chances of more storms developing next few days with the heat? So tomorrow, Missy, we covered this on our Region Weather Live last night. Tomorrow there's going to be, I think the atmosphere is going to be capped. And so what that means, you know, when a storm rises like today, you get an amazing amount of lift. It goes up into colder air aloft, right? A cloud forms when it's colder. Normally it gets colder as you go up. Tomorrow what's going to happen, I think we get a nice little area of warm air that comes up above us. So that means a cloud tries to rise, but it's no longer colder above it. It's warmer, so the cloud evaporates. It goes away. When you have a cap or a warm layer of air up above us in the atmosphere, it's called a cap. It literally puts a lid on the atmosphere where storm clouds can't rise, and they kind of get stuck, and you don't get thunderstorms. I think that's what we fall into tomorrow is a capped atmosphere. I don't see any storms developing tomorrow. There's a chance they're going to be all around. You could get pockets of the atmosphere that cap is weaker and the cloud can break through and get up into that and form a storm. So there's still a chance, but we have a much lower storm threat tomorrow. Wednesday into Thursday is when the front comes through, and that's when we're likely to see some more storms with this. I don't think they're going to be anything like this, though. AJ finally got his storm. AJ, you've been asking me for a storm for a long time, for sure. Does anyone know what's happening in Michigan? It depends on where you are in Michigan. It's a big state. There's more storms developing up towards Wisconsin and northern Michigan. That's likely going to form another cluster that rolls across Michigan down towards areas Lake Huron, Lake Erie, eventually into Ohio. In terms of if you're, Berrien County, Michigan, the St. Joe, Holland area, Grand Rapids, for right now, you're clear. We're going to watch storms to the north, but that's your Michigan forecast. Let's see. Rebecca asking, any more coming into Newton County? Rebecca, what we're going to have to watch, there's a little activity developing back in Illinois that we'll have to keep an eye on as that tracks off towards the east. I don't foresee any more big storms like this. We'll have to watch that on radar. It's kind of messy right now. I don't think there's as much lift in the atmosphere over there, but can't rule it out. But it does look like for right now, I don't think we're going to see anything in Newton County. The bulk of this is getting into Stark County right now. LaPorte County, you're about clear from this. Southern half of the county from La Crosse to Walkerton, still seeing some problems, okay? Still seeing heavy rain, some lightning. Let me check rotation real quick. Still a little bit of rotation near La Crosse. Hannah's getting some very strong winds right now. And this will get into Knox, North Judson, Bass Lake. All right, all those areas are in the path of the storm in terms of the hail, the heavy rain, and the strong winds that we're watching, okay? Ryan, you're welcome for sure. Appreciate it. Jan, thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. I always appreciate that. And you're absolutely welcome. I'm glad you're safe. Luann, you're welcome as well. Dot, yeah, thanks. No problem. I appreciate it. I appreciate you too. Haley, Valpo's okay right now. I can clear you out. You're fine. Still a little lightning in the atmosphere, so don't go outside and play in puddles or anything like that, okay? But in terms of severe weather, Valpo is completely fine. And I can finally do this. Porter County, completely clear now, okay? Your severe weather clear. This storm is now in LaPorte County. It's now completely out of Porter County. It's in LaPorte County heading southeast into Stark County. Those are the areas that we're watching. Allie says it was brutal in Valpo. I would agree with that. Jamie, Maryville's completely fine. You are completely cleared out. Lake County's fine. Porter County's fine. Newton County's fine. Jasper County's fine. And we'll watch everyone drop off the feed, right? And that's good. You're safe. It's fine. Go ahead. Rhonda, you're welcome. Made you and your pup feel comfortable in your closet. I'm glad you took cover. Rhonda, you're completely fine now. So I'm glad you're safe for sure. Debbie's getting outside her viewing area, but that's okay. How's Fort Wayne, she asks. Fort Wayne, again, is going to be probably another 45 minutes before this hits. yeah, so Fort Wayne, it's that chunk that's going to go through North Webster where we have a vacationer, and that'll eventually get into Fort Wayne. Probably still another hour 15 away, but it is going in that direction, down towards Fort Wayne. Okay. Let's see, St. John getting more rain and storms. Vivian, I don't think it doesn't look like it right now. I think this is the main show. There's activity we need to watch back in Illinois. It's not really organizing at all, and I don't think it will, but this atmosphere, you just don't know. It's like a powder keg right now. I mean, literally, there's so much energy up above us that anything can light a thunderstorm. I don't see anything developing back towards Illinois. I'll keep my eye on it, but really, I think this is going to be the bulk of the storms where this instability line is, which runs right through Northwest Indiana. I think this is going to be the main show. Once this gets out, we should be okay, and we turn towards heat tomorrow. It's going to be so stinking hot tomorrow. We're talking heat index, which is what it feels like, up around 110. Normally, we don't make a big deal out of heat, although we need to take it seriously. But boy, tomorrow is going to be a doozy in terms of heat. So start hydrating now, okay? Let's see. Eliza says, heading up from Monticello, is there anything in the path back? On 65. Gotcha. I got you. Let me check. No, you're completely fine. Your drive up 65 is completely fine. The only drive that would be impacted on area interstates right now would be if you're taking the toll road. Once you hit, even South Bend's in the clear right now. Once you hit Elkhart, which, if you're leaving now to go there, it'll be gone by the time. But Elkhart's where it starts, and it continues over towards the Middlebury, Shipshewana, those exits out towards LaGrange. That's where the storm is right now, the bulk of this, okay? All right, let me get you caught up real quick. Okay, Jackie, I'm glad you mentioned something like that because that's what I want to kind of focus on is down towards the Knox area, Couts as well, okay? All right, so let's get you an update down towards Stark County. So the storm continues to push into Stark County right now. Knox, things are going to go downhill in a hurry. You probably have some raindrops that are starting right now. Those are going to turn very heavy in the next 5 minutes. Very heavy rain moving in. Let me check the hail real quick and the wind. We still have some rotation with this. It doesn't scream tornado at me. That's why there's not a tornado warning. Storms rotate all the time. They really do in the summertime. But there still is some rotation. So we need to keep an eye on the storm. There's some very strong winds with this that are likely to come into Knox, maybe just north of town between you and Hamlet. We may see some strong winds. Hannah just saw those. Down towards La Crosse, there's some wind. That's kind of where the rotation starts. And in terms of hail, let me see. We're still dealing with hail. Here's the good news. The hail is not as large anymore. Finally, this hail core with this storm has not relaxed since Algonquin, way back in northern Illinois. So the hail is starting to get smaller. However, it's still probably nickel to quarter size. So that's still enough to do some damage. The hail core right now is just to the east of La Crosse. Knox, if you're in Knox, likely to see some hail out of this. How big it's going to be depends on how this evolves. North Judson, Bass Lake might have some hail as well. If you're in Couts, I saw someone on there say they were from Couts. Jenny says, my heart is in Couts, but my body's in Warsaw. No, you'll be okay. Couts just missed the storm. We saw some rain that moved through. The main hail core just missed you. And that hail core is starting to fall apart a little bit. Sometimes when we see hail cores fall apart, it kind of means the storm could be collapsing a little bit. And when that happens, sometimes we get very strong winds coming down to the surface. You got all this action way up in the clouds, 30, 40, 50,000 feet. You got updrafts, downdrafts, keeping that hailstone forming, right? That's how hail forms. It goes up and down, freezes, refreezes. You have all that action up there. And when hail starts to kind of drop out, sometimes all of it just kind of falls to the ground and you get that gust of wind coming down with that. I don't anticipate that happening. That probably would have already happened within the storm because the hail is already starting to get a little smaller, but just something that we need to keep an eye on with all this. Rose, you're welcome. Have a great night as well. I appreciate you trusting us. Glenda, I feel you. Good adrenaline rush from stuff like this. Let's see. Anything else? Leah, you're welcome. A lot of thank yous. Thank you guys for sure. Yeah, Doug, I am too, buddy. Please stay hydrated. And I mean it. We laugh about the heat, but heat can do some damage if you're not prepared for it. It really can. A lot of people run into big time problems. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. The problem with the heat tomorrow is that our humidity is going to be way up. And when our humidity is way up, remember, when you sweat, your sweat is a cooling process, right? Your body sweats, that sweat evaporates. Okay. When things evaporate, it cools the skin. Evaporation is a cooling process. So when you sweat tomorrow, it's going to be so darn humid outside that sweat's not going anywhere. And so it doesn't evaporate. And so your body does not cool itself. It has no cooling system whatsoever. So the way you keep cool tomorrow is by taking frequent breaks, getting in some AC, drinking lots of water, staying in the shade, because our air temperatures are going to be mid and upper 90s tomorrow. If you get in the sun, you always add 10 degrees to that. So the air temperature is going to feel like 105, 108. Add to that the humidity, it's going to feel more like 110 plus tomorrow. I mean, that's some serious heat, you guys. Okay. So please, I know we're taking these storms seriously and the tornado warnings and all that stuff, but please take tomorrow's heat. I know it's not as sexy as a headline, but please take that very seriously tomorrow and take care of yourself and check on those that don't have air conditioning. Invite them over. Okay. Now's the time to have a neighbor. Okay. All right. Sharon, you're welcome. Certainly appreciate that as well. Jenny's saying a little bit of lightning in Warsaw currently. I'm not digging the neighbor kids in the pool at the moment. Oh my goodness. Oh, I get so mad when people are outside during lightning. Might want to get the neighbor kids out. Just tell them there's a storm coming in. I mean, I don't want to throw the word tornado warning at them. There's not a tornado warning, but if that's what's going to get them out of the pool. Kelly, no problem. Winnemac, let me check. Yes, you're safe in Winnemac. Let me check. I think you are. Yes, you're completely safe in Winnemac. You're fine. This storm is going to clip you just to the north. I wouldn't be outside as it moves through. You'll see it kind of come in and the clouds are going to get really dark by you. You'll have some thunder and lightning, might get some raindrops, but it does look like the bulk of the storm misses you in Winnemac. And I mean just to the north, okay? Just to the north. It's going to literally draw a line through Winnemac. North and east of you is going to get hit. The rest isn't. So the storm continues through areas of Stark County now. Knox, your conditions have gone downhill pretty quickly as the storm is now moving in. I can kind of move the radar here so we can see it a little bit better. There you go. So this is heading into Stark County. LaPorte County, you're about in the clear from this. We still got heavier rain falling down towards Kingsford Heights. Walkerton seeing a little bit of hail right now, but that's heading on out. Again, this is a Stark County issue right now. And by issue, I mean strong winds still. We've still got those coming in. Knox, you're about to be the recipient of that. We've got some lightning, although the lightning intensity's gone down as well. That's a good sign. And we still have some hail. But by all indication, the storm is starting to finally weaken. And that's some good news. All right. So this is going to continue through Stark County. The rotation's even lessened up a little bit. This is a good old-fashioned thunderstorm. Don't let your guard down with it. But compared to what it was out towards the west, it's looking much better. That's some good news. Boy, they're getting socked right now back towards Syracuse, which is just south. If you guys don't know, it's south of the Elkhart area. It's by North Webster. They're getting socked by that storm. There is some real strong wind with that. And there's another one that just crossed into Ohio from the Angola area out by the outlets, right? Of course, I know the outlets. My wife likes the outlets. That's okay. All right, I'm going to answer a couple more questions and then we'll call it a stream here. I think we're about done. Stark County, you're going to get hit, but this is just a severe thunderstorm right now. And again, the reason why I wanted to do this coverage was that tornado warning coming out of Chicago. Hi, Lance. Hi, buddy. Wheatfield is about in the clear. Let me double check for you here. Yeah, Wheatfield's clear. There's still some lightning strikes around, Lance, but Wheatfield looks okay. You're not going to get any rain from this in Wheatfield. You're looking north and east. You can probably see the dark clouds, hear the thunder and lightning. I would just stay inside. You're severe weather clear, but stay inside until that lightning goes away. Because I'm seeing a lot of lightning strikes outside of where the rain is falling, which tells me this giant thunderhead is producing lightning strikes that go out where it's not thundering or storming, okay? Does it have to rain to have a tornado? Michelle, no, it doesn't. Typically, though, storms, typically, yes, it doesn't have to rain to have a tornado. But, typically the way a storm is structured, you're going to have rain if you have a giant cloud and it's, tapped into Gulf of Mexico moisture east of the Mississippi River, essentially. You're going to have the rain to be able to have a strong enough storm to produce rotation within it. So it usually does. But it doesn't have to be raining for there to be a tornado. The storm would have rain, but if you get a strong enough tornado forming in what we call the rear flank downdraft of the storm, which is that little hook, you can have rain-free base there where you have just a tornado and then the rain's on the northern end of it. So there you go. Ricky talking about the wind starting to pick up. Yeah, Ricky, the storm's actually going to miss you in terms of you're feeling the wind right now, but the actual rain part of the storm is going to miss you. It's interesting, Ricky, if you were to look safely, I don't want you to go outside. If you were to look north and east right now, over towards North Judson, like northeast sky, that's where the rotation would be within this. I would not be surprised, Ricky, if you saw either a wall cloud or something kind of rotating in the sky. It's nothing to be alarmed with, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a pretty ominous looking cloud if you were to look north and east, all right, towards the North Judson area. But again, the bulk of the storm is going to miss you. I don't think you see a drop of rain. Jenny, just crank the volume real quick, all right? Just crank the volume, Jenny. Hold on. Okay, did you crank it? Hey, kids, I'm going to need you to get out of the pool. There's lightning around. Lightning loves water, okay? And you don't want to be in that water when that lightning loves water, okay? So kids, get out of the pool. All right, I hope that worked. Let's see, what else we got? Rhonda, have a great night. South Bend's okay now, Sonia? Jenny, appreciate that. Yeah, we've got a long night ahead of us here too. Alicia or Alicia. I've seen two different pronunciations of that. I have a friend that's Alicia and one that's Alicia. Actually, I don't have a friend that's Alicia. I've never heard Alicia, but I'm sure that's how some people pronounce your name. Okay, does everything have to get to a standstill in a tornado minus tornado? No, it does not have to whatsoever. It does not have to. You're welcome. Jenny, you're welcome. Okay, everybody, I'll tell you what, our severe threat's over for most of Northwest Indiana. Stark County, again, we'll keep our eye on. I don't see anything worthy of having live coverage for as the storm continues to roll south and east. So just keep that in mind. Should be severe weather clear rest of the evening, okay? So I certainly appreciate you joining us and trusting on us, but we should be good the rest of the evening, okay? Stark County, another 45 minutes, the storm will be out of there. Strong winds, a little bit of hail. We should be clear after that, okay? So keep that in mind as we go throughout the rest of the evening in Stark County. Glad you're safe. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to go get some honey water, stuff like that. I don't know, whatever helps your voice. All right. Thank you, everybody.